Hi, you're listening to Playing Out from the Bar. Please be aware this podcast contains strong language.
Right, can I go now?
Give the update on what's been going on through the night.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Third episode, of the second series of Playing Out from the Bar. The bar is open once again for the evening, and we've got a few things that we're going to discuss. Although we're at the start, I've just been saying to the boys that I've never been less prepared. It might shock you to know that if you're a regular listener that we do put in a little bit of preparation for this podcast, but I've not really done a lot tonight. But I know that we're going to have some. We're going to be. Got a few things to talk about anyway, and we'll just see where it goes. I think. Dobby, Tricey, welcome to the bar. How are we doing this evening?
Hi, Jack. Yeah, I'm not bad. Cheers, mate. Not doing too bad. I've managed to do my usual 20 minutes pre-pod preparation, so
20 minutes.
I'm on track. It's a bit of fag packet kind of scribbles, to be honest.
Who's Lambert and Butler?
Yeah. So no, it's good. It's good to be here, and another welcome distraction as lockdown continues.
Yeah, definitely. Are you on a drink tonight, Dobby? Are you back on the wheel tonight, or?
I am, and I'm taking it back as well to where it began. I'm on the Carlins tonight.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, it's been a long time. This should have been a first episode drink, really. I've been pretending to be someone I'm not during the first season.
I think this is our 15th episode in total. It's taken that long for a Carling to come out of the fridge from the Playing Out from the bar, which is incredible.
Yeah, I've kind of been drawn back to them since Christmas, after taking a bit of a hiatus, probably in 2020, and becoming a bit more exotic. But then Rosie's grandma kindly got me an 18-pack of Carlins, and it was just a gentle reminder of like, don't forget where it started. This is the last one, actually.
I thought for a second there, I thought you said Rosie's grandma. I thought you were just going to say, yeah, Rosie's really into the Carlings. Like, I can't imagine it sat between you both on the table.
No, she hasn't been. Yeah, she hasn't been dipping into it. There's not been a few cans missing. Don't worry.
Tricey, what are you on tonight, mate?
I'm still on my Northern Whisper, but this time it's their stout called Belty on Nitro. Pretty heavy, but it's really nice though.
Nice.
Any chance of them sponsoring us yet? Or
yeah, keep giving them a shout out.
Yeah,
Come on.
My thinking on it is if we say every week, eventually, like the sheer odds of probability, someone will have to give them a nudge. Surely, is that not?
Well,
how
if they
these
don't take
work?
the chance soon, who knows? Carlin will be on to us. You think you've had your chance? You didn't take it.
The downloads are on the up, so yeah, that's a warning shot fired right there. I've actually got a drink that is quite interesting, I think, this week, boys. I ordered these German beers in. Now, I can't actually pronounce the name of the beer. Franz Iskana. That can't be right. But it's 6%, and it's really nice. I'll just show you the bottle there. It's
nice.
I just feel like I needed to mention it because it's the first time I think I've not been on either San Miguel or Estrella or Peroni for this.
So where's that come from, Jack? I'm guessing it's not from the local Tesco.
No, I got the order off beerhawk.co.uk, which, like I say, it was a bit of a random purchase really, but I just found, I felt I needed something different for the podcast. Needed a bit of a shake things up, and yeah, it's a bit like that. Is it Warsteiner that a lot of people have? It tastes similar to that to me. So yeah, I'm happy tonight. And
Quick question, actually, when you mentioned Beerhawk, have either of you been? Start again. Either of you two been to the Beerhawk bars? Any of them?
I've not. No.
No, I don't think so.
There's one near me, and I'm sure it's Beerhawk. I could be wrong actually, but there's a bar called Beerhawk. I'm pretty sure in Leeds City Centre that I've walked past quite a few times, but just never been into. I don't know if it's the same thing.
It might be actually. I mean, they didn't specify if they were just sort of a home deliveries company, but this I would recommend try. This is really nice stuff. If anyone's out there wants to give them a go. I mean, again, there's no money changed hands here, but well, apart from mine to theirs.
Apart from their end.
Yeah. But I've got that. I've got a portion of chips as well tonight. So
Nice.
yeah, I've gone all out on, and I've got the football on the TV on silent in the background. So really going for the virtual bar experience tonight. We're gonna. I mean, does anyone want any positives or negatives they want to bring up before we get started?
Not really. Just another week of lockdown, isn't it? Really, I guess.
How's the? Has any progress been made on the Duolingo trice this week?
Yeah. So for listeners that don't know, last week I sort of said that I'm on Duolingo trying to get promoted every week, treating it a bit like Football Manager, and you'll be pleased to know last week I actually stabilised myself. I thought I was getting a bit ahead of myself, so I finished 17th out of 30 on Duolingo last week. Stable, ready to go again this season.
What happened to the... Only because, I mean, giving away the game here slightly, but you did put in the WhatsApp chat that you'd streaked ahead to the top of the league at one point, but was that just you getting an early advantage, getting your games in early? Or?
Yeah. Can you remember when Swansea won 5-0 on the first day of the season? That's the type of vibe it was. So I'd got off to a good start, 50 points on the board after a few hours, and I thought, yeah, this is life. What an achievement! And then all of a sudden, you're filtering down. I'm like mid-table now, so very Swansea.
Could be a relegation scrap, and
you found your level again.
A couple of months.
Dobby, do you want anything you want to bring up from the week?
Yeah, I guess I took the bragging rights this week in the playing out from the bar derby.
Yeah.
The Newcastle v Leeds fixture at St James's Park, so I'll take that as my positive. I think it's always nice to win that one.
Gives away my negative for the week.
Yeah. It was. I wanted to chat to you a little bit about it because it was as a lot of Leeds games can be. It was a bit of an odd one. We looked really comfortable, I felt, in the first half, and if anything, felt we could just turn the screw a bit more. And whereas in the second half, I think the issue comes down to two factors really: in the man-to-man marking, and if a player loses his man in the middle of the pitch, it just opens up so much space. And Newcastle a lot of teams take advantage of that, and you see players from deep driving forward. And then secondly, I just think we're just crying out for some more, one or two more like box-to-box midfielders. We're too reliant upon Mateus Klick, who's played like every game for the last God knows how many years, and then Rodrigo as well, who's technically a striker. So yeah, it wasn't as easy. It was by no means an easy one. We're really hanging on, I felt, by the end of it. But it does halfway point of the season, 26 points. I think would have taken that.
God, I'd love to be
season.
on 26 points now. Still,
yeah.
I think you hit the nail on the head, really, Dobby, because it was a bit like at half time I was thinking, how are we only 1-0 down? And then by full time I was thinking, we should have really got a draw from that.
Yeah.
But saying that, I'm not sure how we were still in the game, considering the amount of space Calvin Phillips was given in the first half. I mean, he basically was walking around Monument at like 3 a.m. on a Saturday night. Just like he had complete room to roam.
Yeah.
No one was getting within anywhere like near of him, and it was just it's quite frustrating to watch. But yeah, no, deserved victory, I think, in the end. And well, it's just you've got a much better manager at the moment, and you're looking. I can't see any way of you. I think you won't get sucked into any trouble now. That's it, isn't it? Pretty much 26 points are you on now? So
yeah, you'd hope so. It puts us in a really good position. So yeah, I think hopefully we can just enjoy the rest of the season really without having to get too worried at any points, and and then just plan on for next year. And I think, unlike you guys, maybe we're probably going into looking forward to next season with some optimism. We seem to have a good ownership structure and ambition behind us, so that's probably where we differ at the minute in clubs, don't we? Like we just can't wait to get cracking and see what happens over the coming years. Everything, the foundations are in place, whereas for you guys, it's just still not can't quite find an identity. And I don't think it'll happen, will it, under Mike Ashley?
No.
So
it doesn't look like it. I think will probably. It's such a shame because I've been a long time. I thought we really need Leeds back in the Premier League. Whatever other fans like or loathe them, but I think they've been a miss for the division. And I was personally really looking forward to a Newcastle Leeds fixture after all these years. And just so happens that the first season Leeds are back up, obviously, is the season without fans, which is really disappointing. Hopefully, by next season, not only are we in a better position to give it make sure both games are a bit more competitive, but hopefully we can both be in the stadium as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's the dream.
I mean, Leeds play. It's kind of a rough link, but that brings us on slightly to the social corner, where I know one former Leeds player has been quite busy this week on Twitter. It's fair to say. Dobby, you spotted this, so do you want to introduce this one?
Yeah, sure. So something cropped up on my timeline last week, and I don't know what kind of audience this reached. I don't know if it was just across Leeds fans or if it ended up kind of going a bit national, but essentially a Leeds United fan had picked up on Ben White's Spotify account and had a look at his playlists, and anyone who's got a Spotify account will know that you can make your playlist public so people can view them and then play them. And so this guy's gone on Ben White's Spotify and he's got some public playlists, and he basically discovers that Ben White has got a playlist called Sex, amongst other ones. So we've got some photos on the Twitter, and the tweet basically says, "Hi Ben White, just letting you know your Sex playlist is public, mate." A couple of screenshots. So then you've got Changing Room, one playlist, 2020, another playlist, Kanye West featuring Drake, another playlist. Then we've got Sex as well. So and then quite quickly reacted to this by deleting it. So there's a follow-up tweet that said, "Fun's over, playlist is gone." No. But then there was also a question asked by obviously a lot of curious people in this, and someone said, "Does anybody know what songs were on it?" So then there's a
That was going to be my question. That was literally going to be my first. I was dying to know what he had on there, but go on.
Well, so yeah, there's a screenshot, and I mean, there's Birthday Sex. Is it Jeremiah? Jeremiah? I don't know. Yeah. Me and You, Cassie. But the one that really stands out and caught a couple of people's attention is I Need a Doctor by Dr. Dre and Eminem. So someone's commented saying I need a doctor, a lot of laughing faces, and someone else has put that's a proper strange one. It's quite intense, isn't it, really? Imagine being in the mood and that comes, I need a doctor. Like, what's he trying to suggest at this point?
I love that that's been brought up, by the way, you two, because for the 5 minutes previous to that, it was borderline sort of serious football chat.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Back down to earth a little bit.
Back down to earth with a sex scandal.
We're never in danger of getting too serious on this podcast, too analytical on this podcast, are we? We're always seconds away from a proper story.
So, yeah, that was it. Well, a couple of days later, Ben White, he kind of ignored it at the time, but then he followed up by putting a tweet out there with a photo of himself with some headphones on the training ground with a caption, "Loving this playlist from Calvin Phillips, ... Obviously, with a little bit of a cheeky shout out to what had been caught out on a few days earlier, to which Calvin Phillips replied, "You're welcome, Benji," with some crying faces. So they obviously see the humour in it, but yeah, very good, like that. I need a doctor, eh? Get that on your playlists.
You can't believe that.
Which Premier League footballer do you think would have the worst playlist, the worst sex playlist on Spotify?
The worst sex playlist?
I'd be interested. I mean, he's not a footballer, but I'd be interested to see what. He's not even a manager these days, but I'd be interested to see what Pardew's is like. Pardew, to me, just reeks of Spotify sex playlist.
Yeah.
Like,
Pardew screams to me as like bringing someone, like what you see on the movies, like coming home with a lady and then really relying upon the music to turn to like it's like do the business for him, like going over to his record player,
getting really stressed when it's like not there, when he can't get the playlist going. He's like,
getting the tried and tested tunes on, like, they worked for me back in the 80s. These songs. He'll definitely, yeah. I think Pardew would go for a bit of Smooth Operator. That's got to be the number one on any of them playlists.
Smooth operators, just that's up there. That should be. I mean, forget sex playlist. That should just be on every playlist.
On repeat.
That's just like just have that on repeat. You don't need a mixtape. Like I said at the start of this episode, we haven't really got much of a structure tonight. But one thing we did want to talk about and bring up this week in particular was tweets that have aged badly, basically digging out some old football-related tweets on socials and just picking them apart because, I mean, things change quickly in football, as we all know, and there's some brilliant ones from only a few years ago, but they feel like they're just completely ancient already because of the difference in the business, I suppose. I mean, a great one that Tricey's given us already to kick us off is from Richard Keys, good friend of the podcast. So on November, big up Rich. On November 29th, 2017, which is when West Brom were struggling badly at the bottom of the Premier League, they appointed Alan Pardew. Second mention of Alan Pardew on the podcast tonight. And Richard Keys just simply tweeted, "Welcome back, Pards. Perhaps things are changing a little. And it turns out British coaches know what they're doing after all." In case you don't know, Pardew was sacked about 3 months after that tweet. It didn't last long. So, have we got any other suggestions?
Yeah, what I love about this topic is that it wouldn't have even existed like 10 years ago, would it? I mean, things like Time Hop now just catch people out and constantly remind you of what you used to tweet about, and in particular footballers when they first started getting social media. Like, you've all seen the Wayne Rooney ones, like, "Do you want to live tomorrow, Rio?" Just not
That's
knowing
a classic, innit? Yeah.
Not knowing how the channel works, but it does expose them, doesn't it? Like, and it sort of captures in time what people are thinking, and sometimes they're right, but more often than not, it comes back to haunt them.
It does make you wonder as well, though. Like, we've all kind of come to learn and see examples of people getting caught out, and you just know not to put your neck on the line on social media. Like, just do not go out there making bold statements or trying to like be controversial in any way or stir up a bit of beef, because you will get caught out. Someone will have that saved somewhere, screenshotted, but yet week in, week out, you still see people doing it, and you just think, just keep your opinions to yourself. Like, is it really worth it?
I'll kick us off with a good one here. This is from, in 2015, an account called Dare to Wenger, so it's obviously an Arsenal fan account.
By the way, I can imagine, like, if we did this just randomly and then looked back on it, about 70% of them would be Arsenal fan related.
I was just going to say, Arsenal fans, God love them. They've provided so much content for this podcast. I often wonder, like, how big was the Jackson Martinez 28 v 29 debate, just in terms of getting this off the ground, and now they're still producing. Sorry, Trice, go on.
Yeah, sorry, Trice.
No, it's all right. So they tweeted saying, "Whenever you're feeling down, just remember Spurs are playing a team called Karabakh tonight." And then 3 years later, someone's replied to the tweet with just a screenshot of Arsenal's lineup versus Karabakh in the Europa League.
Yes, love that.
There's something in, I'll tell you what, there's definitely something in the delivery of the response to the tweet. So, do you know what I mean? Like, the fact that the Spurs fan or whoever's responded to that with the screenshot of the lineups, that makes it. Like, you can't just say Arsenal are playing them tonight. Like, you've got to be you've got to give it that delivery. Yeah.
I love that. That is brilliant. 3 years as well. Yeah, it's like a fine wine, isn't it? With stuff like this.
People
like,
don't
you get
forget
something like
that.
that. That is class. Like, I'd love to know the background of how this guy remembered that tweet was there. I hope it wasn't just in circulation again, but he just specifically had it saved and was like, you never know.
Waiting
like,
for it.
One day. Then it comes up. That's great, that one. But just a little bit off topic, but just about the length of gap in that tweet. I don't know if any of you ever saw it, but there was this, like, was it a Facebook account or a Twitter account where some guy made, and he tweeted like, looking forward to buying FIFA 17, and then looking forward to getting FIFA 17 or something, and then 10 months later tweeted like, yeah, FIFA 17 is alright. Is that right, Trice? Is it something like that?
but I'm pretty certain it was even like FIFA 12 or something like that.
There's like an 11-month gap on there.
And they were only 2 tweets, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some people are stupid.
Oh, lovely stuff. Shall I chuck one forward then?
Go for it, Dob, too.
So going back to managers, I know we was talking about Pardew a minute ago, but back on the 13th of July 2015, BBC Sport announced the appointment of Claudio Ranieri as the Leicester manager, and we all know what great successes that brought. But a chap who, I'm not going to read his name out, but he responded to this.
Gary Lineker for a second there. I thought
No,
you were going to
he's
say
got-
Gary Lineker tweeted saying not a great appointment.
No, he's got a Leeds logo as his photo, so he's letting the side down a bit. But he responded basically saying, "Where do they pick them from? Should have gone for Neil Lennon."
Neil Lennon's
they-
particularly rogue selection as well. Like, it's such a left field choice.
I know, like,
What does he rate about Neil Lennon so much? Like, what's he done in his career that means that he should get that mention? Like, instead of, I mean, like, all right, he's fine, but is he better than Ranieri even before Leicester? I think that's a bit of an odd shout.
how do we think Leicester would have fared that year if this guy's preference had gone ahead? Where do we think Neil Lennon would have guided Leicester to?
A solid mid-season sacking with relegation been flirted with.
Yeah, but I think you're right. It's just the randomness of that. Like, if I read that sentence out and didn't, and then said, "Just give me some suggestions and names," that you like blanked the name out, I think no one ever would have gone with Neil Lennon.
That's such an incredible selection. Like, I love it how that. When was that picked up on Dobby? Like, years? Was it a few years after, or?
I don't know. I found it early, and I don't know when it was picked up on. To be honest,
Are you the discoverer of that? You're the first person to tell him.
No, I've stolen this off somewhere on Twitter. I don't know where though, so I'm sorry. But yeah, it's I wish I did go back down this random guy's timeline from 2015 and managed to find that.
Just on earlier when Tricey mentioned about some of Wayne Rooney's ex-tweets, and I know like the Hi Rio, do you want picking up in the morning, pal, is a great one. But I also loved his tribute to Whitney Houston when she died, because like that was 2012, February 2012. Wayne Rooney tweeted, "Whitney has passed away, R.I.P. You will live on forever. Can't believe it. I want to run to you. Really can't believe this." And then just ends it with the @ like handle, but hasn't written anyone's Twitter handle after it. So I just, 2012 was early doors, all right, but even by that point, did Rooney not have any understanding of what was going on Twitter? Did he not know how to tag someone in a tweet? That just seems...
Maybe he was just really emotional. He just couldn't really pull himself together. Just chuck a load of random symbols out there.
He must be such a big Whitney fan, which is understandable. But it's the last thing you expect from Rooney, really. I don't know.
It makes me laugh because the agents have obviously there was a window where the top players had basically free reign on Twitter, and the agents have obviously got to a point, maybe 2014, where they've gone, what are you doing here, guys? We're controlling your accounts now.
Yeah. And then it all quickly sort of became the generic sort of post-game tweets of, "Oh, the fans were great today.
But
solid 3 points.
Week,
we go again next week." Yeah.
Just you can honestly go for a blueprint at 5:30 on a Saturday afternoon, looking through Twitter and seeing non-league players and players in League Two tweeting exactly the same thing, pretty much. Fans were class, top 3 points. Fuck off.
You might have non-league footballers have almost taken the opportunity to just enjoy tweeting. The fans were class. On to the next one. It's a big part of their
And if I'm being
Like-
brutally honest, I'm certain I might have done that myself as well.
Let's find it. Let's get. And if any listeners can go back through Tricey's old tweets and dig that up, then that'd be much appreciated.
I might need to cleanse my profile from 2013.
Ones that's always stood out to me, or a situation that's always stood out to me, like a personal one, would be just reflecting last season on when Leeds got promoted, and there was a time in the season, halfway point, where we lost quite a big fixture away at Nottingham Forest, and that did seem the opportunity for a lot of people to jump on the whole Leeds are going to screw it up again, and Forest fans are optimistic about the playoffs. And it there was a little bit, it did put a bit of tension in there, and obviously felt there was a lot of pressure going into the end of the season. Obviously, when we got to the COVID break, we managed to build ourselves a nice 10-point gap. Well, no, it was about a 7-point gap, I think, from third, but
Yeah.
Forest themselves a 10-point gap, so we'd gone on a great run, and then COVID obviously stopped the season. When it was coming to restart, basically, Nottingham Forest captain Michael Dawson reported to their club media about really his view on their promotion chances at this point, and he came out and said, it says here, Nottingham Forest captain Michael Dawson has issued a warning to Leeds United and West Brom, suggesting that the Reds can catch the top two once the Championship season resumes. So there was a 10-point gap at this point, and Michael Dawson put out this bold statement. And for anybody who followed the Championship season last year, will probably remember just how that finished off for Nottingham Forest, and their automatic hopes were soon dashed, and it basically went down to a last final game decider if they'd make the playoffs or not, and they went into it with a 6-goal. I think they were 3 points clear of 7th place, and then they had 6 goals in it in goal difference.
6-goal cushion, wasn't it? Yeah.
So yeah, it was really difficult for them to screw it up. And there was another guy who went out there and tweeted, "Are people really worried that we'll blow a 6-goal difference in one match? Even I'm not fretting, and that's a good sign, believe me."
No.
Yeah, and they did go and blow it, and Michael Dawson's aspirations of automatics when they were 10 points behind and sending a warning, obviously that clearly failed, and then this last day kind of security of feeling that they'd definitely make it into the playoffs. The playoffs failed as well, and I forgot to mention, I've just seen the screenshot now, but that fixture I mentioned at the midpoint of the season, where there was a lot of worry around Leeds and Forest felt that they'd kind of got the better of us and the wheels were coming off. There was a tweet that was from a Forest fan at the time saying, "What a great result, making LUFC look very ordinary. Difficult to understand how they're still second place, offering so little, choked on the big occasion." So yeah, I think on a personal one, it was just a scenario of this that I saw play out over the year, and it was nice to be able to reflect on it and see some of them tweets pop up on the timeline of what their fans and players were saying, and then you think, well, you guys literally failed to make the playoffs. So that was a good one for me. But before we move on, if you're going to give it, I guess you've got to take it at the end of the day. So I'll share one from the other weekend from a Leeds fan once I can find it.
What I just like about the Forest one as well, Dobby, just to add in, is that I remember watching that final day, the Championship final day from last season, and it was like, I can't remember, and it got to the point where they suddenly needed a goal at the end, so they chucked everyone forward for a corner or a set piece, and then like the last goal was just like a run into an empty net, which is just the perfect way to finish. I've got nothing against Forest, by the way, and I took no pleasure in their demise on that occasion, but there is something comical about a promotion push or a playoff push getting emphatically finished off by just a goal into an empty net because they've overcommitted. There's nothing better on a football pitch.
I think that's probably right, Jack. And yeah, I'm not going to say too much because who knows what can happen in 3 years' time. I'm sure what goes around comes around, so you never know. I'm not going to say too much, but I did enjoy that one last year. It was good fun to see. But as I say, if you're going to give it, you've got to take it. And a Leeds fan put their neck on the line and just stupidly never mention underdog FA Cup games. Just don't do it. It's all
up for a fall.
It's just a risk. Just don't bother. And this young man has basically said, Crawley is an easy ticket into the next round for Leeds. It'd be nice to have a cup run this season. Professional 4-0 win tomorrow would be ideal. And,
all around me are familiar faces.
You just don't do that, do you? You're really putting your neck on the line there. But yeah.
Like today, Dobby, if you're gonna send it out, you got to be prepared to take it.
Yeah.
Trice, have you got any more that you want to throw in as well, mate?
Yeah, sort of similar to Dobby's really. It's actually from a club's Twitter account. So it's Barcelona when they're playing Liverpool in the Champions League semi-final at Anfield in 2019. And this is just after Origi's goal. So it's made 1-0 to Liverpool on the night, 3-1 on aggregate. And Barcelona's just put 1-0 Liverpool. If we score, this is on their English account, obviously. If we score, though, Liverpool need 5, and we're surely going to get 1, aren't we? Like, agreed? Question mark. And then it, obviously, they didn't. But what I love about that is that for the remainder of the game, the social media admin for Barcelona is thinking this tweet is still in play. Right up until Liverpool won 4-0, obviously, but if it went 4-1. Barca would have gone through on away goals. So literally until the final whistle is like, yeah, we're in the game here. Like we only need 1, and surely we're going to get 1, aren't we?
But that's what's unforgivable about that one is like the other ones we've been doing. For
there's an
no
arrogance
offense
to that,
intended, but like they're just fans. Like these. You can expect a fan to say something daft on the internet. It's bound to happen. But for an official account to tweet that's after kickoff as well. Obviously, they've tweeted that.
Yeah, that's after Origi's just scored to make it 1-0 on the night. Yeah,
that's dreadful. Like, I mean, that's a sackable offence in my view. For if you're going to be a social media coordinator for these clubs, you got to put put yourself on the line like that. Then I also liked, and this is one Trice, you brought this to my attention earlier, but and I think this one's been doing the rounds recently, is obviously the Jamie Vardy one. Jack Next tweeting, Leicester have signed non-league striker Jamie Vardy for 1 million. What has football come to? Jesus Christ. And what I wanted to know from you two is, at what point, like obviously, hopefully by now he realises he's made an error. But like, at what point do you think he accepted that Jamie Vardy was worth 1 million? Like, how far in his career does he have to be until do you think it's once he scored 100 Premier League goals, that guy's just gone, oh, you know what, I was wrong on that one? Or is he just in complete denial until he's still saying to this day, I don't think Vardy's very good?
The thing that I found most interesting about this is I'm pretty sure that they signed Vardy when they were in the Championship, and wasn't it a year prior to them even going up? I can't remember exactly, but we're not talking Leicester in the Premier League.
We're not talking Sven-Goran Eriksson Leicester where they were pissing money away either. We're talking
it's a lot to, I don't know, it's just a lot to get aggravated about. He was scoring goals in the Football League at this point, wasn't he? Was it Fleetwood he was at before?
He was in the conference at National League level, I think it was.
But did he not play in the Football League for a little bit? Was it with Fleetwood before
I'm
going
not
to?
Sure, I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like he did.
Actually, he was at Halifax before Fleetwood, wasn't he? And
So I just feel that if it was Leicester in the Premier League taking a chance on a Fleetwood striker, then I can see why someone would be a bit more frustrated. But I think at Championship level, £1 million on a striker, even then, that's not too much to get upset about. So,
getting upset about, is it?
I'll just sort of sidetrack a little bit, but I sort of get where the guy's coming from. But it doesn't happen enough now, does it? You know what I mean? You'd never see a Premier League club would never sign a goal scorer from League One or League Two just on the basis they're a goal. Liverpool signed Ray Clements and Kevin Keegan from Scunthorpe in the early 80s and 70s. So that would never happen now, I don't think, unless they were absolutely ripping the league to shreds. Then they'd probably sign them and put them in the 23s, but you wouldn't get that now, would you? So
no, you're right, mate. Yeah,
maybe that needs to come back.
Yeah. While we're on the topic, I guess, then of top strikers in the Premier League, there was a tweet. I've got a tweet saved here from back in 2014, where this guy's come out and said, "No one will ever convince me Harry Kane is good enough to play for Spurs." And someone's replied in support. I try to get behind him, but he's so painfully average.
What a Spurs fan that is.
Yeah, so
How many goals
wow.
has he scored for Spurs now? 200 odd, is it?
So yeah, these lads, they didn't fancy him back in 2014. To be honest, I can't really remember much about Harry Kane back in 2014.
There was a lot of
to be fair,
thinking back. There was a lot of
yeah.
people going, "Oh, he's a one-season wonder." He's got, and then he went 25 again. Oh, he's two-season wonder. And then he did it like 3 years on the trot, and he's like, "Okay, he's world class now."
Yeah, no, he's
the best ever.
It's not an old tweet, but I remember I have a lot of in-depth football conversations with my uncle, and I remember we were out for a drink in must have been 2014 time, and we're talking about this, and I do remember him saying I just don't see what and he knows his football, he's a very decent football fan, very considered with his judgment on players, but he did say to me, I don't understand what Harry Kane does. He's not quick. He's not particularly quick. He's not particularly doesn't beat players constantly. I mean, this was early Harry Kane. This was in the raw stage of his career. And I remember him saying to me, he was like, "Yeah, I think that Berahino looks a better bet at West Brom." And that's just something that always sticks out with me, because I always like to remind him of that every time I see him now. And Harry Kane's obviously captaining his country, has won the Golden Boot.
It is mad though, isn't it? How much can change? Some fine margins or something.
It bites you in the arse, doesn't it?
Yeah.
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 I think on that note, Trice, is that a good point to introduce your quiz for the evening? Because after my sort of interim spell as quiz director, I'm glad to be handing the reins back over to you this week. So. What have you got in store for us?
Well, you sort of inspired me, to be honest, mate. So, obviously, last week you did real or fake chance.
We've
managed to make up
mixed
some
views
of
on that so far, I have to say. But go on. I'm sure that I think you'll be able to deliver this in a better way.
Well, some of your Martin Poom was a banger.
Martin Poom has gone down well. That is true. Yeah, if the Derby fans are listening, then
yeah. So don't rule out your musical career yet, Jack. But anyway, I wanted to just ask you two. So, did I tweet it or not? Basically, I'm going to read a few tweets out. You've got to decide whether it's from me, from back in the day, and have I been caught out, or is it from someone else? They're all real tweets, basically.
Right.
So.
Oh, they're all real, but some are you and some are
they're all real, yeah. So it's either me or...
Oh, I like this.
Or not me, okay?
Can I just say, is one of them to start with from your non-league spell saying, "Got the 3 points today, boys. Fans were class. We go again next week."
No.
Hashtag up the Osset.
No, that would be too obvious, I think. I presume you're playing against each other, Dobby, going for competitive spirit and stuff.
Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it?
Can't ask him anymore.
Okay, so the first one is on the back of, was already been mentioned, Jamie Vardy's England debut against Ireland in a pointless friendly. Did I tweet or did someone else tweet? Jamie Vardy capped for England after 5 Premier League goals. Shows a lack of quality of English strikers in the Premier League.
Oh.
I'm going to say you did tweet this, Trice, I think. I can see it. I can just see you now. No, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, I think you will have done as well. I can see that coming from you.
Okay. A point apiece. Regrettably, I did tweet that.
Wow.
I don't know if you can remember that game. It was literally I think it was a few weeks after the Aviva Stadium opened, and it was just
I do
crap.
remember that.
England didn't have a prime Hodgson era. It was awful. 0-0.
Thank God you boys went to the Scotland away day and not the Ireland away day. Just to
Would have been in the concourse sort of game on the beers.
This second one, did I tweet this or did someone else tweet this? Surprise Mark. For context, the date of this tweet is 2014. So,
Right.
surprise Mark Hughes hasn't been mentioned as a possible England manager. International experience, mostly good club record, tough, clear.
There's no way you said that. I don't reckon anyway. I don't know. I just can't see it.
I just love that tweet exists, regardless of who's tweet. I mean, if Tricey had tweeted it, it's like the cherry on the cake, but just the fact that someone was calling for Mark Hughes in 2014 to be good. He was, obviously, at this point, he's on a decent run with Stoke, isn't he? Like, he wasn't bad in that 13-14 season for him, so...
Do you reckon if Southgate goes in like the next year or two, Mark Hughes will be he'll be in the running on the odds? You get Mark Hughes at like 8-1.
You're both right. It is actually someone else, but it's a proper football journalist called Paul Haywood. But what I love about this is the top reply is obviously someone Welsh. He's Welsh. Keep off.
Yeah,
I was going to say, he's already had a little dabble in international management, hasn't he? Because he was Wales manager for ages. So, no, I'd tell you what. If who knows what's going to happen with Southgate? If he's still an option, the next time the England job comes round, then I think we should start a campaign. Get Hughes to England.
Mark Hughes.
Next one. Pep Guardiola is beyond deluded if he thinks he can win the Premier League without practicing tackling in training.
That's got right. I'm just going to come out and say that's definitely you, Trice. You're a big fan of tackling and just defensive play, solid defensive play. So I'm going to say that is you. And I remember Guardiola saying that he didn't coach tackles or something.
I don't think you would, Trice. I think you'd maybe think something like that, but you'd take a step back and see how it unfolds. I think you're not going to question Guardiola when it's background.
Actually, it's true. Actually, I'm just thinking it will be post 20. Yeah, it'll be like 2017 when at earliest when Guardiola came, or 2016.
This tweet is from 2016.
2016. Yeah. So by that point you might be mature enough to not hot-headed enough to tweet that. So, but I'll still go with you.
Brexit opinions back then.
It's actually a tweet from Stan Collymore, that, so Dobby gets a point, 3-2.
Yeah. Okay. That is a Brexit football tweet. Isn't it?
This next one isn't really football related at all, but did I tweet this or did I not tweet this? Mr. Bean, full stop, funny.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. I like it.
For the context, this is from the 27th of July 2012.
2012?
He's not long out of school at that point. Well,
Mr. Bean is funny. I think I don't know why you would want to share that with the world, but I like how precise it is. Mr. Bean, funny. If I saw that on my timeline, I would give that a like, definitely.
You've gone down the factual route there, so.
Maybe even give it a retweet.
Okay, Jack, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I didn't know that you were a Mr. Bean fan before this podcast, so it could be true. But I'm going to say that even you in 2012, Trice, would have been a slightly more. You've got a different comedy taste, I think. So I'm going false.
That is actually false. It's a tweet from a prime Wayne Rooney.
Brilliant. That's up there with R.I.P. Run to You.
That is brilliant. I'm a bit annoyed though. I lost my composure there, and I just got a bit just because I find Mr. Bean funny. I feel like I wanted you to find it funny. Well, I don't. To be honest, I don't even know if I find Mr. Bean funny anymore. I've seen it in about 10 years, but it's just a lot of emotions came running back to me. That's a bit hot-headed.
Let me compose myself for this one. It's tickled me, this, looking back there. So this is a tweet 3:10 in the morning on the 2nd of August 2017, and it's to @JK Rowling. Hi, can I speak to you, please?
Again, I'm just glad that tweet exists. Whoever's done it, fair play to them.
3:10. God.
Yeah.
They must have been pissed.
Is J.K. Rowling up early in the morning? Because if she's like Gary Neville and she's attacking the day, then she might have responded to that. I mean, are you
Drunk
a big
tweeting J.K. Rowling?
Yeah, I can see it. If you're pissed, Trice, then maybe.
I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to use my logic. My instinct says it's not you, but then I do remember that you have an ongoing feud with a friend of ours over an English award back at school. So I don't know if he was trying to get her to intervene at 3 a.m. to like, I don't know.
An English award? What, like a school, like what? Best English.
So highest performer in English, Jack, and my friend was gutted that he didn't win the award.
Oh,
it was a bit of a scandal.
Yeah.
Tried to basically
predicted grade C and pulled an A out of the bag in the exam, and
there was some interference there, basically, from outside interference.
If you won, I'm going to say that. But then why would you be like needing J.K. Rowling's intervention?
I'm just thinking 3 a.m. there's an argument going on in a smoking area somewhere about this English award. Like,
that's true.
Cam's calling Tricey out on it. J.K. Rowling is like the Queen of English in the UK.
How is J.K. like just because she's a really great author, she's got the authority on.
So we need to bring her in, and she has the final say on whether he should have won the English award. We get some written submissions to her. I like to think that's what happened, but I feel like I'm fantasising a bit, so I'm going to go. No, you didn't tweet J.K. Rowling.
I'm also going to actually no. I'm going to say yes. You did tweet J.K. Rowling.
Ooh, it's all to play for in the decider.
This is it.
That @JK Rowling. Hi, can I speak to you, please? Is actually a tweet from Louis Saha.
Oh. Wow.
I thought you were going to say Lewis Trice.
Teased you. So I think Dobby takes the victory there. Out of the 5. What did you think to that?
Before we move on, Louis Saha, wow. Like,
yeah, I don't know what he's doing there, really.
That's nuts, isn't it? He must have wanted a career change.
Yeah, what was he like? Yeah, 3:10 in the morning. What's going on in his head that he needs to be getting into touch? Unless he's another. See, some of these celebrities though, they're up early at the crack of dawn. You know.
Jack, Louis Saha is not up at 3 a.m. like by alarm.
Yeah, no
chance.
Yeah,
the man's drunk.
Maybe he's seeing Jake. I don't know why I'm trying to make excuses for him. Like he can live and die by his own.
Maybe it was on.
It doesn't specify the time zone, so it could be from.
That makes it worse if it's from France, Trice.
Well, it could be from. He strikes me as the type of person that'd like a trip to Dubai or something.
Yeah. Or he's just had a good 6-hour session finishing off one of the books and just has quite a lot of questions it needs. It
happens to be 3 a.m. as he's finished like the last Harry Potter, and he's got some supplementary questions.
I mean, people do have like fan fiction and stuff, don't they? Where they like question what's canon, and they might want to put their own fiction to J.K. Rowling and say, can this be included in the story? So
yeah, that was.
He might have gone down that road.
That was really good though, Trice. I enjoyed that.
That was great.
I could do that more often. That was really enjoyable.
I still can't. I'm just so pleased that someone was calling for Mark Hughes to be England manager in 2014. That was just superb. I also remember, on a side note, I remember when we appointed Rafa Benitez in 2016, and Peter Schmeichel, Manchester United legend, tweeted, "Not sure why Newcastle have gone for Rafa. Couldn't they go for someone with Premier League English experience like Nigel Pearson?"
I enjoyed that. Good work.
I'll close off tonight in the bar. We're just going to have a quick update on correspondence from previous weeks. So, firstly, as you'll hopefully, if you're a regular listener, you'll remember that we chose our American university team to get behind for the forthcoming season a couple of weeks ago. Have we had any updates, Trice? Have we been in touch with Gonzaga yet? Have they been in touch with us? What have you got for us?
Yeah, I'm sure you're all gripping to hear this update. I mean, without sounding like the British government, the update is there is no update. Their season starts next month, I think. But call it rude. Whatever
Call it
you
disrespectful.
Disrespectful, yeah, all these words. We have actually tweeted them a few times now. Maybe their admin's on furlough or they're all working from home, so it's not required. Is it? Maybe they only do match days. I don't know the dynamics there, but
we'll give them a whack.
For them to blatantly ignore us, I think that's not a way to treat your UK-based fans.
I mean, we're trying to expand their fan base with our podcast. It's not just us three that are potentially going to be getting behind them. And they've, I mean, how many times have we tweeted them now? Is it? Are we talking? Is it more than twice?
Yeah, about 3 times. I don't
tried
know what I was
LinkedIn.
expecting. Yeah, well, maybe I might have to do some digging because I mean, anything from a retweet, so we get more American listeners, to them saying that's amazing. Why don't you come over and record at our campus?
I mean,
and anything in between is fine. So
don't give us don't push us to choosing a new team. We will become the glory hunter versions of MLS fans, and we'll be like, we did support them, but now we support them. And then an English player goes and signs for another team, so now we support them. Don't turn us into them.
I'm sure Tricey's still got that random generator fired up, ready to go.
Yeah, that exists as a contingency, Jack. You are right. But let's see how they go in the season, providing that games go ahead. I mean, maybe when they start playing, they'll actually engage with us a bit more. And I think we should try to get someone on, get a Gonzaga representative on to give us a bit of feedback, give us a bit of a story into their team. So
it would be good if we could even just find out who their star player is, if indeed they've got any star players. Just because, I mean, as you two will attest from last week, I like getting creative with chants. So if I can find a chant for one of these Gonzaga players, I'll be happy to do it. And hopefully we'd have to wait until they sign Martin Poon. But
it's probably not enrolled yet. Probably, but
sitting in UCAS. He's still on his UCAS now.
But when he does sign, we'll be there with a chant.
Star player through clearing.
Yeah.
And then we'll follow him through to his professional career.
Yeah. I'm thinking zagging who's zagging who along the tune of who's zooming who, something along those lines. I'll get working on that over the next week. But yeah, if any Zags are listening or know of any other Zags, then please do get in touch with us because we're looking to.
Did we find out where it was? Is it in Washington? Is that right?
See, Washington State.
We've located the state.
Yeah, it's not far. Well, it's not far. It's about a couple of hours away from Seattle, I think.
Right. Okay.
So, right on the other side.
Okay.
But yeah, until proven otherwise, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're busy. They may be getting a lot of UK-based podcasts tweeting them. I don't know. Up the Zags until proven otherwise. We've got to say that.
We're not buying any merchandise until we get some response. We're buying no mugs or mouse mats until we get a response.
Dobby's just got him in his basket waiting to.
Yeah, he's got purchase loaded up. But he's
Got
just
some hoodies.
Holding up. Yeah, I really hope they do get in touch because I just think that'll be a way to it'll be mutually beneficial, that relationship. They'll have a great podcast to support, and we'll have a great team to support. I'm sure of it. Do we want to? I mean, are we going to catch up on the our brilliant correspondence from last week as well, Trice, which was from Simon, regular listener, and if you haven't already heard his brilliant tale of Lee RMI's FA Cup tie at Fulham, then do check out last week's episode. But we've had some further update on this, haven't we, Trice?
Yeah, so I went back to it. I mean, Dobby, you raised the point last week about is the Rubens nightclub in Lee still open, where they were singing taunting Paul Pesci-Solido that he couldn't score in Rubens. Well, I actually went back to Simon, and it turns out that it's not. It's closed, and it's now housing and flats and stuff. So, which is a real negative.
Another kick in the teeth for us.
Yeah, everyone has experienced their favourite boozer from their teenage years been turned into an office block or a housing estate or something at some point in their life. So, thoughts with you there, Simon.
That's really sad news, to be honest, and that happens all too often, like you say. It's a real sad moment, isn't it, when you see a past favourite be converted into just.
Well, yeah, the Britannia in Scunthorpe is now office space, isn't it? Which is just
it's a bit
wrong on
multifunctional.
so many levels.
I think it has maintained a bit of a bar area, from what I hear.
Has it?
But yeah, I don't know. It should.
In the post-COVID world, both of those pursuits are looking quite difficult, both office space and bar. But is it still worth us visiting the site? Because, okay, Rubens isn't still there, but like we have these famous historic sites. I'm trying to think of an example now where, it's not there
people
anymore.
pilgrimage
People
to them,
still
just
visit.
to, like...
Yeah, I'm trying. What's a good example of that? Like Elvis's
Stonehenge.
house, maybe.
I feel like we'll just have some people looking out the windows at us thinking like, are they lost?
Well, I'll tell you a good example actually, Jack, what we've already mentioned tonight. The road where Harry Potter's house is on, loads of tourists go to that, don't they? They get photos outside that house where it was shot.
Is that a real
but like Harry Potter's obviously not living there, but they still go, don't they?
Yeah,
No,
where they filmed it. I
thought that was the set that's in London at like Watford.
Oh, I don't know. No.
I've seen people go to that drive because there was a news story about it recently because they were doing that people turned up during lockdown.
Yeah,
there was like 50 people outside.
Really?
I swear I've seen a story about 50 Asian tourists going to this housing estate.
Right. I thought that was because they've got like this film studio place now, haven't they, down in London or Watford, and they've recreated some of the
sort of like Harry Potter world
things, places, and I just presumed that it was like a set. But then thinking back, that obviously didn't exist back in like early 2000s, so they must have used something to record it.
The house.
Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud here, but
that'd be of Harry Potter references in tonight's episode. I didn't know we were going to get so many.
Yeah. So but I don't know where I'd like to pilgrimage to though. If there's anywhere that I think I'd like to go visit.
There's definitely somewhere I'm thinking of that is like it's not whatever it was anymore, but people still visit it. And I'm maybe thinking we could do this with Rubens. Like, okay, Rubens isn't still there, but maybe we should take the trip. Is there anywhere else we can go and see when we're in Lee? Trice, do we know of? Like, perhaps we could get a few recommendations to like. Maybe we could recreate the whole steps that Simon took on that day.
Well, we've got to look at the Asda, really. I guess that's the main point of call.
I suppose, yeah. We'll go to the
Assess
Asda and
the
get a meal
situation. And
I think it's definitely inspired us that next year. Well, just as soon as possible, we need to get ourselves to some non-league away days. Get on board with especially if there's an FA Cup run as well, that we can jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, maybe what we need to do is before like the very first preliminary qualifying round of the FA Cup, we need to look at the teams in at that stage and just draw one from a hat, and then like they'll be our team to follow throughout the competition.
Yeah. What about if they get knocked out in like the qualifiers?
Why don't we do the ultimate glory supporter? So we start off with a team, and whoever they lose to in the FA Cup
knocks them out. So then we're guaranteed a seat at Wembley.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, that's it. Right, that'll be our plan then. Hopefully, we'll get Lee RMI at some stage.
Do they exist still, Trice?
No, they weren't. I think they were.
Oh no, that
they exist as something else. They've rebadged it, basically.
Yeah, they've rebadged it. That's a shame.
As you were saying, we didn't mention it last week, but Dobby, you pointed out they were such a great team to hear read out on the classified results by James Alexander-Gordon, like back in the day. He could really get around Lee RMI.
Yeah, I just liked them because of the name. When I was a kid and we used to be in the car on the way home, and you were listening to like the full classified check, like there was just certain names that I used to just really like, and they were one of them.
Yeah.
It's like Crew Alexandra as well. I was like a 5-year-old. I was like, oh yeah, I like them. to have a clue who they are, but not as keen on them anymore, to be honest. But
Well, yeah, I suppose that's it then. Two bits of sort of deflated bits of correspondence to finish the show off with, but we'll be back. We'll be back next week, and I'm hopeful that by then the Zags will have got in touch with us, and we'll have some more news on that. Tricey, Dobby, thank you for joining me again this week, boys. Yeah, it's boosted my spirits for the week ahead. So cheers, guys, and
cheers, Jack.
We'll go again.
Cheers, Tricey. Speak to you.
Cheers, chaps.
Cheers, boys. See you next week.